everybody, and welcome back once again. Another edition of Inside the Headset, the second stop on my tour this week as we roll into Jamboree week on Friday. And I'm here with the new head coach of the Riverdale Warriors, the famous Riverdale Warriors, Will Kriesky. Welcome to Region 2 6A ball, I think.
Yes, it is. I appreciate you having me on the show. Appreciate the opportunity to be here.
I appreciate you. Well, let's jump right into it. Who is Will Kriesky? Tell the people who you are.
Well, I'm from Paris, Tennessee. I grew up in West Tennessee. It's a small town. I went to high school at Henry County. My dad was a high school football coach for over 18 years. He coached from middle school to high school, and then he became the principal of Henry County. Well, he went to Camden for a little bit, was head coach over there. And then we played football at Henry County. I played for some people that you know, Donnie Webb. Donnie Webb coached in this county for a long time, coached over at Oakland. He's been, and then stopped at Henry County for a while, and then been at he's the head coach of Franklin.
Right.
And also one of the assistants on that staff at that time was Kevin Kriesky.
Okay.
So Coach Kriesky was over there at that time, and that's how me and Coach Kriesky got a special relationship. He's helped me out in the past. I got my first job at Mount Juliet because of Coach Kriesky. So he's helped me out. But I grew up in West Tennessee, graduated high school from there. Like I said, my dad was a coach. I've been around the game all my life. I grew up, I was one of those.
Where'd you go to school? College?
MTSU. I went to college after I graduated Henry County. I went to MTSU.
Did you try to walk on?
No, I didn't. I just, at the time, I don't know, it was just a different little feeling. And I thought I was going to go into the business world.
Yeah.
I got a business degree. And I was going to be the smart one of the family. And I was going to make a lot of money.
Okay.
Because my brother, I got an identical twin brother. He's also in education. He's actually the head coach at Centennial High School.
All right.
And I was going to go into business and make all the money and kind of laugh at him. But things didn't work out that way.
Where did that turn take place? When did you realize you wasn't going to go into the business world?
About my going into my junior year. Okay. My dad was still at Henry County. We'd go watch games, and then, like I said, we'd go down and spend some time with Coach Kriesky. And then one summer, I got to work with Coach Britton, Steve Britton, and Matt Gardner. Yeah. And we got to work. We did that summer job together, and I developed a good relationship with them. And they were just like, "Hey, come out and watch practice sometime." So I got to come out here a long time ago, back in 2003 and 2004.
I remember those days, and I remember who was coaching here.
Yes.
You were at a special time. Yes. You really were, and your eyes were open.
Yes. And I just kind of come out here and stood around and watched, and talked to some of those guys, and I kind of got that spark, and. Being a son of a coach, I guess I was trying to fool myself. This is what I really want to do. I love being around the kids. I love being on the practice field. I really enjoy it. Like, I don't, some people are like, oh, we got to go to practice today. But this is where you can put everything away, and you come out here for 2.5, 3 hours, get away from the cell phones, away from the technology, and it's just you, your coaches, and your kids. And it's just, football, people don't, it's a special sport. It's tough. It's tough to play. Right now, we started in the spring with over 90 kids, and now we're down to around 75.
That's a good number. That's a good number.
It's hot. It's been hot.
Yeah.
And mentally, some of these kids can't take it. Some of them broke, and some of them decided that they would rather work, Subway or McDonald's or do other things in the air conditioner where you don't have to be out here in the
Got
heat.
all your life to work, Coach.
Exactly. That's what my dad always told me. And, it's hard. We've been going for a long time. We've been starting the last few weeks. We've been starting at 6:30 in the morning. We start with weights, then we go some film, and then we come out in the practice field. Or we go, depending on the heat, we go 6:45 weights, and then come out here. We're keeping them doing something with them till afternoon, till after 12. So, that was a long day for the kids, and it stressed them mentally, but we felt like for us to be good this fall, we had to put that stress on them mentally and physically. Because if you look last year, we struggled the last 3 ball games, with the Oaklands, the Smyrnas, and the Cookers. We lost those games in the fourth quarter. And I keep reminding those kids, we were not mentally tough last year. And we have to change that mentality. And that's what we've been working on from spring ball, carried over in the summer with summer workouts, now to the summer practice.
And you talk about that mental toughness. It's not week 1, it's not week 2. It's long about week 5 or 6. Weather starts changing. And it's according to how your season's going, according to how the kids' mentality is about, like you say, about coming out to practice.
Exactly, and I can't brag enough on these seniors. These seniors, have really, because we've changed things, the way we've done things in the weight room. We've changed the way we practice.
It has to be your stamp. I
Yes.
don't mean that against Coach Adelot, but
No.
Coach Adelot's gone.
Yes.
And you need to go on with what you need to do.
And with that being said, I've talked to Coach Adelot numerous times, and that's his advice he gave me. He said, you're not still running Coach Adelot's program. I'm gone. He said, you got to do it your way. You got to do it Will Kriesky's way, how you believe in it. Because if you try to do it my way, it's not going to work. Because he talked about, Coach Adelot's coached at Hillsborough. He's been coaching.
Oh, he's coached a long time.
Yes.
He coached on Stratford.
Yes.
When they were really good, when they ran the real wing team.
Yes. And he stressed that he said he had some assistants that's gone on and tried to do it Coach Adelot's way, and they weren't as successful. They had to bring
And he
it
had
off.
a chance to sit back and watch that.
Yes, and he tried, and that's what he tried to stress to me the most when I was going out hiring guys, because we lost a lot of coaches, that chose to go other places and got other opportunities.
There'll always be casualties.
Yes. Like Coach Dobbs is one of my best friends. We talk every day. He's the head coach at Moore County now.
We're going to bring him on, hopefully, if I can get a hold of him. I'm working on that. So and Kriesky says that will be an interview you will enjoy every week.
Yes, it's a great interview. We talk almost every other day, and he said he's enjoying to talk to. But he got an opportunity at Moore County to be head coach, so I had to bring in a new O-line guy, Seth White from DCA. And I couldn't make him do the things the way Coach Dobbs, because that's not fair to him.
No.
He had to do it Seth White, the way he wants to teach his offensive line. Seth actually has a connection with the staff. Seth White went to high school at DCA, but then went to college at Western Kentucky.
Yeah, I know. I grew up about 45 minutes from there.
And he played for Walt Wells at Western Kentucky.
Okay.
So Walt was the connection for us to get.
There you go. It always and people don't understand that. The referees, the other coaches, the coaching trees where they came from, and that's part of the camaraderie you guys have.
Yes. And as you talk about, some of the things I've been having to do since March, it's hiring a staff. You don't realize how tough that is, trying to hire, because you got guys to fit in with their teaching schedule. Because you can't just say, hey, I want you to come. Well, they got to find a place in the building, because they have to have a teaching job. And with that being said, Mr. Nolan and Mr. Nance, and at the time it was Mr. Wayne and Miss Sides, they worked wonderful with me to help bring the guys in that I wanted to bring in, that I thought fit best for this program. We got to bring in Chase Brooks from Beach High School. He's running the defense. We got to bring in David Vassar. He's been at Siegel. He's been at Gallatin and Smyrna.
Yep.
We got to bring in William Henry. I don't
Yep.
know if you know William Henry. He
I know
graduated here in '97.
I know him.
He coached at Alcoa with Gary Rankin for many years, and bringing some of that tradition back. I always have him talking to the kids about the past tradition, and he spent some time with them, talking to them and telling them, how they did things and why they were successful back then.
Well, you say that. I'll never forget Coach Abernathy, who was over at Brentwood Academy, who's now Director of High School Relations at University of Tennessee. Great friend of mine. We've been friends forever. I used to call his games when he was coaching for Nashville Storm. But anyway, he always said, I said, what makes Brentwood Academy so successful? And he says, we don't hire a math teacher who can coach defensive line. We hire a defensive line coach who can teach math.
Exactly.
And that's a big difference that people don't understand.
Yes.
You can get a plethora of applications or a plethora of people that qualify for the job. But it's a lot of tossing to find the right one.
Exactly, and and I was very fortunate because with Coach Adelot leaving and Coach Dobbs, I had a weight room position during the school day and a driver's ed position. So
those are sweet positions to have.
Yes, and I had numerous of applicants, and I had, it's really tough because I had some people that's helped me in my past that I had to choose to go in a different direction. Not anything against them. It's just I had to do what's best for this program at the time, and I had to find an O-line guy to come in. I had to find another guy with a weight room guy to come in and fit the needs of this program.
Well, and you can't shortchange this. I mean, even if you just said, well, he's not a defensive back coach. He's coached defensive line. You think he can coach defensive backs? You want to bring in the right person to coach the right group of kids so that you're not turning your back every minute worrying, what are they doing down there? You got to be headache free when you're running your drills and doing all your stations and stuff.
Exactly, because one of the guys I talked to, and you know him, Steve Carson.
Yes, know Steve real well.
He said, man, I'm driver's ed certified. I said, all right. I said, good. Can you coach all line? He said, Coach, I got to be honest with you. I wouldn't be a good O-line coach, and I'd probably get you fired. You know, and he was honest, but he's been in that business. He's been a head coach. And
Love
he was
Steve
honest.
Carson.
So you have to have the
him.
utmost respect for a guy that's going to be honest with you like that.
The shoe didn't fit, even though he had a little bit there. He just realized, I can't help you there, and he wants, and maybe by him waiting, he'll find the position he wants or whatever he wants to do. And it seems to me he's still hungry, and I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah, he's a great coach, excellent coach.
Oh yeah. All right, so we've talked about that. We've talked about personnel. So you haven't been doing much coaching, so you've told us that, and you've told us how many kids you got and everything. Let's talk about your Jamboree matchup, and let's talk about let's move into offense and defense, and we'll talk about Jamboree. Offensively, what will you do different than what we've seen in Riverdale Warrior Pass?
We'll be a little bit different. Coach A-Lot based his offense philosophy out of the wing team.
Yeah.
Coach Kelly Holcomb, he's been with us the past 3 years. He's in charge of the offense, but he has good guys around him. He's got Coach Nate Paris, who's been here for a while. Coach Paris has been a freshman. Coach Josh Pelchad's doing the running backs, and he's helping him with the running game. Coach Field's still here. And Coach Steve McClanahan coaching the tight ends. So we've got a good group of guys coaching the offense that work really well together.
So the style will be
a little different, a little more pro style.
Okay.
But we'll be multiple and do a lot of different things. We've got a lot of good skilled kids that has some experience. So we'll have an opportunity to do a lot of different things out of the ball.
All right. Defensively, what will we see? 4-3, 52. What do you like to set up in?
We're going to change that a little bit. Like I said, I brought Coach Brooks in to help with the defense, and he's more of a four-down lineman.
Okay.
So last year we were more of we're based out of a 50.
Okay.
This year we'll do a little bit of four-man stuff, but we're still getting that 50 some because I like the 50. But again, I got to let him coach and do his thing, and he's done an excellent job.
So are you going to call defense on Friday night?
No, I'm going to let Coach Brooks do it.
Okay, so you're going to play head coach. You're going to have an offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and you're just going to listen and fill in the gaps.
Yes. I'm going to try to listen.
You're going to try?
Yeah, my wife tells me I need to do a better job at listening.
So what's been the biggest thing? What's been the biggest thing that you can say? Like you said, I think I already know the answer, but what's been the biggest thing that you said, I didn't know that this is what it was all about when I got here, and I don't want to talk about anything bad. I want to talk about the good part of just becoming a head coach. What's been that great thing so far? You hadn't coached your first game yet, just as far as trying to get into the groove and learn all things, and just, all right, I got that done. That's real rewarding. Let's move on to the next thing. What's been something?
I tell you what, the most rewarding thing is there's so much negativity out in the world today, and we got a group of kids that are really trying hard. I mean, they come and they have a good attitude, and they're coachable kids. I mean, we're really hard on them, but there's yes sir, no sir, and they move on. I mean, we're really hard on these kids, but they're taking coaching, and they're enjoyable to be around.
That's important.
They're enjoyable to be around in the weight room. They're enjoyable to be around in the film room. They're enjoyable to be around at school, and we have a good time. We're out here coaching, and we coach them hard. But that's the thing, as you try to change, you do your own thing, because the seniors could have just turned their back.
Yeah.
And they could have said, we're not going to do it his way. This is not the way we've done it the last 3 years. We're going to move on. But these kids have really bought in, because it's all new personalities out here, different personalities out here. So they've all had to adapt to different individual coaches, because the defensive line coach is different from last year. The O-line coach is different. The linebackers coach is different. Everybody's coaching. Even the coaches that were here last year are coaching a different position. So they adjusted to that, but they adjusted to it well, and they adjusted to it with a positive attitude.
Well, and that's good that they weren't complacent coming in. Oh, you're not teaching this no more, so I have to, now I'm not as complacent, and I'll pick up my step a little bit better and get to where I need to get to the end of the line and be on time and whatnot.
Exactly. Being on time is something, we stress around here. So, I mean, they learn, a few days we have.
It's hard to keep 70, 75 guys coming to work on time every day.
Exactly. We set a few at the Father Ryan scrimmage because, we told them to be here at 1 o'clock, and some of them showed up at 1:02 and 1:03. So we had to set a few guys to set the standard.
I saw Coach McDaniel do the same thing. There was a couple of kids. It was playoff time. I don't know. It was like the first game or something, and a couple of them rolled into school late, and I guess they thought it was, that they could do that in Oakland, and said, you're not playing Friday night. That's just it. You're not playing. So, well, I'll see you Friday night, and looking forward to seeing the Riverdale Warriors. Any changes in looks, or the helmets and all the gears still look the same, or did you do any?
Right now, the helmets are the same. I tinkered around a little bit with some things, but couldn't find the right fit this year. And again, you talk about the responsibility of head coach. It's not just coming out here to execute.
No,
You know,
that's the easy part.
Yeah, that's what we love to do. But it's the fundraising and trying to raise the money.
Being a babysitter.
Yes, and trying to, we got a nice facility we're trying to fundraise for, and we're kind of putting on hold right now. So the budget's kind of tight. The budget we have.
How far are you along on that?
We got the whole shell up. Now we're working on getting electricity and the.
How far are you off on budget?
We're a little ways off right now, so that's the part that keeps me up at night. Trying to.
Well,
figure it out.
it's either that or you can go buy a big scoreboard like Oakland did, and that'll keep you up at night. The payments on that thing. I mean, because that comes every 30 days. Somebody's got to make a payment.
Exactly.
To keep that thing on.
That's right. Like right now, we got a payment on the building that comes every 30 days that we got to make sure we pay. But we still got to run a football program.
Right.
You still got to buy shoulder pads. You still got to buy a helmet.
Keep the kids safe. I mean,
exactly.
Coach Kriesky was talking about that all today. I mean, he bought new helmets. He didn't want to, but he's like, it's according to whether it's either new shoulder pads, new helmets, but you want to keep the kids safe. There's so many head injuries and stuff.
Exactly.
And just out of curiosity, just shooting out of the sky, what do you think it costs? From the helmet to the shoulder pad to the insurance and everything, what does it cost right now to put one kid on the field on a Friday Night Lights? What would you say that tab runs?
That's, I'd say, because the helmet, the nice new helmets now are $350 at Speed Flex. So you're well over $500 for just one kid, well over 500. And then you get the nice shoulder pads. Those are around $200, $250.
I mean, he ain't even got nothing to put on him. Yeah,
that's
he ain't
not
got
the
no
practice
pads.
jerseys or the game jerseys or the pants. So it's well over $500. Close to $1,000 a kid.
That's what I was always told. They said with insurance and everything, and him suited with a $100 pair of cleats and $100 here, and you don't really realize all the other.
You got the girdle. It's $50. So it's well $1,000.
And clothes that fit you on a football player,
Exactly.
a kid looking right and feeling right is a lot better off, because if he gets out there and he don't feel right or it's something ain't right, he won't perform as well as he normally does.
And you talked about some other things. We bought new home and away jerseys.
Good.
So that's
That ain't cheap.
Not at all. That's
and when the
thing.
bill hit the table at your coach's office, somebody had to pay it.
Exactly. So that's something else to stress. But I felt like we needed a little bit of change there.
Yeah.
Just a different little design. I always help Coach Ed out with the uniform, so I hope I can't bash it because it's my I'm pointing at myself because I always did that was my responsibility for him. But I just wanted something a little different for the kids. New era, new start, new coach. Let's have something a little different.
Sounds like the quarterback club, the faculty, the staff, the administration, along with your chief here at Riverdale, everybody's just been very responsive. It seems like just from the tone of the voice.
Oh yes, between like you just said, the Booster Club, the faculty, man, it's been unbelievable support. Even we had, I don't know if you were here that night, we had an alumni game on June 8th here.
I was going to come out. But it was pouring the rain, and I was going to bring my gear and try to capture it. And then I kept looking at the radar, and then I said, by third quarter, Krager, it'll be a mud bowl.
But it was I'm glad we hosted it because I got to learn a little bit about the past. Those guys played, some played in the 80s, some played in the 90s, some played in the early 2000s. And the company outfitted them with a uniform. But I got to talking to some of the guys, and the guys that started this tradition said, Coach, we never got to wear those black jerseys. Do you mind if we wear them? I said, no. And you would have thought I gave those guys $1 million. I mean, they were fired up, jacked up. They wore the black jerseys.
I didn't coach. I called for the Nashville Storm, and I also called amateur football down at Laverne. They used to play 7-on-7 full contact in 04 and 05, and I was the announcer who did all the video work. And I've been around some of that where the guys, they're coming back out, and my gosh, this is their one chance to suit up. And I mean, there is some hits out there that you would not believe. There's somebody hurting on the next morning. I mean, I'm not kidding. I mean, I saw some.
I think there was a guy from Oakland that tore his Achilles or something during that game. So.
Well, that's what I always tell people. I got to go to work on Monday.
Exactly.
So anyway, all righty. Friday night, we're all heading over to Blackman High School. First kickoff is at 6 o'clock. Y'all be there.